Tired of the same boring CAS backgrounds everyone is using? What if you could create your own Sims 4 CAS background from scratch? No copying others, just your own design? In this tutorial, I'll walk you step by step through Sims 4 Studio and show you how to build a clean, minimal, solid color CAS background, with a working mirror effect included. No experience needed, just a simple method you can fully control and customize. Open Sims 4 Studio and create a new object package. Make sure to select Override. Otherwise, it won't replace the default CAS background. In the search bar, type CAS Room. If you don't see it, enable Show Debug Items, and it should appear. Save the package to your folder and give it a name. Next, we're going to set up the model's shader so it behaves like a mirror in-game. Switch to the Warehouse tab, then find the Model resource. Go to the Data tab and locate LODs. Click the Edit button. Scroll down to Meshes and click Edit again. The first texture is for the background. You can ignore that for now. The next two meshes are the ones we need to modify. Find the Shader dropdown and change it to Flat Mirror. If the shader name doesn't update immediately after you select it, don't worry. That's completely normal. The name will only refresh after you save the file. Make sure to apply this to both meshes. Now switch over to the Studio tab. We're going to export the background mesh. Under the Meshes section, click the Export button. Save the file and give it a name. And don't close Sims 4 Studio just yet. We'll be importing our new background back into it later. Open the mesh you just exported. You'll see the original background along with 3 objects. Select the largest one. That's the main background panel. Switch to Edit mode, then press A to select all meshes. Press X and delete all faces. We're doing this so we can build a brand new background from scratch and learn some basic modeling skills along the way. Now press Shift and A and add a cube. Press S to scale the object and use number keys to control the amount. Here, scale it up by 10 times. Press 3 on the top number row to switch to face select mode. Then select the top face and delete it. Next, press numpad 1 to switch your view. Press G to move the object. While moving, press Z to constrain it along the Z-axis. If you hold Control, the movement will snap to increments, making it much easier to position precisely. Now select all faces. Press S, then X to scale along the X-axis. Scale it to about 2 times. At this point, there's an important issue to fix. Since our sim will be standing inside this box, the normals of this mesh are currently facing outward. If we don't flip them, the surface will render incorrectly, causing lighting issues and making textures appear broken or even transparent. To check this, open the Overlay panel and enable Normals. You'll see the current direction. The red side indicates the back face. Now press Alt and N and choose Flip. This will invert the normals so they face inward. Now let's create the mirror models. Use the remaining 2 objects as your mirrors. You can design them however you like, but I recommend making them taller so they can reflect the full body of your sim. Once that's done, we'll bake the textures for each model. Switch to the shader editor. Then select the background model. Disconnect the color input from the texture node. This allows you to control the model's color directly without being affected by the original texture. Since we're creating a solid color background, just pick any color you like. Before baking, make sure to select the image texture node. This is very important. Otherwise, the baked result won't be saved to the image. Now go to the Render Properties panel on the right. Switch the render engine to cycles and set the device to GPU for faster baking. If you don't have a GPU, just leave it on the default settings. Scroll down to the bake section. Set the bake type to diffuse. This mode captures the base color, lighting, shadows, and ambient occlusion into the texture. For this tutorial, just enable color, since we only need the current color of the model. Now bake the texture. And just like that, your texture is successfully baked. Don't forget to reconnect the node we disconnected earlier. Otherwise, the texture won't display correctly. Repeat the same steps for the other two models. For the mirror texture, I like to paint in some white highlights. This helps make the reflection appear brighter in-game. Next, we need to import these textures separately into Sims 4 Studio, so make sure to save them as PNG files. Now go back to Sims 4 Studio and import your model. You'll notice the textures are not applied correctly at first. Switch to the Texture tab and import your textures one by one. Don't forget, the first one is the background texture. Once everything is imported, save your package. Now launch the game to test it. At this point, you'll notice something strange. Even though the mirrors are placed on both sides, the reflection appears behind the sim. This happens because the mirror normals are not manually set. By default, Sims 4 Studio assumes the reflection direction faces forward, which causes this issue. Go back to the shader settings in Sims 4 Studio. The mirror plane normal controls the direction of the reflection. You can think of it as the axis that defines where the mirror is facing. If needed, you can go back to Blender and estimate which direction your mirror surface is oriented. So, how do you figure out the right values? Try using the mirror's center as a reference point in the scene. It won't be exact, but it helps guide you. Then just tweak the values little by little until everything looks right. There's also mirror plane offset, which lets you fine-tune how the reflection is positioned relative to the object. For now, I'll leave it at the default value of 0 to see how it behaves. After saving and launching the game again, you should now see the reflection correctly positioned on the side. CAS backgrounds always need some fine-tuning. That's just part of the process. And that's it. You're all done. If this video helped you, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss more in-depth tutorials like this. I'll also be sharing the project files from today's tutorial on my Patreon, along with the tools and plugins I create. Feel free to join if you'd like to support my work and get access to more resources. Thanks for watching.